Hello, greatest trip facilitators in the whole world. Right now I want to talk to you about financial reports. Financial reports! So exciting for some of you, I know. Because we all know that within 1 month of every trip, you need to send me your expense report. Now, back in the old days when Alex and Mario and Tammy were young and foolish, it was basically just tell me how the money was spent and do like a food log and a construction log, and yeah, that's all you got to do. But we need to be a lot more exact with our financial reports from now on. So I want to teach everybody or give everybody an opportunity and an option for doing these reports in a more specific way, in a more exact way, so when we send those reports to Covenant offices, they feel more comfortable with the reporting that we have, okay? So, I have 3 people who've really created some really nice financial report spreadsheets that they would be more than happy to help you figure out how to be more exact or be able to report in a more complete way all of your expenses. One is Daniela. She has a way that she does her reports. They're color-coded. They're very fancy. It's got US dollars, Mexican pesos. If you need any help, you can talk to Daniela, and she can give you a template of how she does financial reports. We also have Alejandra, who also has kind of pretty fancy reports. Hers are also color-coded. So I don't know, I sent all of you a copy of these, so you should be able to look at them yourselves. But she basically has an opening paragraph that tells how much money in US dollars was given at the very beginning, how much that was in Mexican pesos, how much was spent, and how much is left, or how much was overspent, okay? And then from there, she goes down every column and puts in where the money was spent and how much was spent. So she actually records how all the money was spent, whether it's food or ground transportation, whether it's tourism, even staff expenses and staff pay. And then she gives all the final totals. So she does a paragraph in the beginning with kind of an overview of everything, and then gives more exact reports on all of this. This is what we're looking for from now on. More of a complete report and how everything was spent. We do not want receipts yet. In fact, hopefully they will never ask us for receipts, because can you imagine on these trips trying to gather a whole bunch of receipts and it becomes a big wad of paper like, okay? But all you have to do is, as you go, write down your expenses and get on your computer and write it out, and then send a report within a month of the trip. And if you do this while you're doing the trip, it shouldn't take a whole month after the trip to send these. Usually from Daniela, Alejandra, or the other person who's been really doing a great job with these is Esther from Ecuador. Hers are not colorful, but they make a lot, they make a lot of sense. If you look at Esther's, they're all in black and white. But again, she puts the number of how much US dollars she received at the beginning. Now, one thing easy for her is she uses US dollars in Ecuador, so she doesn't have to, it's easier for her. So how much, and then how much was spent and how much was left, or how much was overspent. She does that for every category. If you guys remember, before every merge trip, I always send you the category of how much money is for each category. Food, this amount. Ground transportation, this amount. Staff expenses, this amount. I give you all of those. So all you have to do is create an area with those expenses, and then at the very end, she always gives me a total and she puts it in yellow, so that's the exciting part there, of how much money she received and how much she spent, how much is left, or how much was overspent. Okay? So this is what we would really like from everyone from now on. If you would like a template for how to do this, contact Daniela, contact Alejandra, contact Esther in Ecuador, and they'd be happy to coach you through this because they do a really great job. One last thing I want to mention is we're not, in the old days, if we had money left over for a team, we used to reimburse our leftover money to the teams, but we're not doing that anymore. The reason is it's costing a lot of money to send money all over the world. In the old days, I used to just go to the bank in the United States, get a big wad of cash, and give it to everybody. It was easy to do money in the old days. But now we're wire transferring money all over the world, and it costs a lot of money to do that. So please don't reimburse teams money. Hold on to the extra money and keep track of how much merge money you have, and then you can report to me how much merge money you have. Last thing, sorry, I thought it was the last thing, but now I've got another last thing I thought of. Whenever you spend any merge money that is not part of a trip, don't forget to always tell me that you spent that money. If you go on a pre-trip or any type of expenses in which you use merge money, but it's not part of a trip budget, you've got to make sure to tell me you spend it, because that does come out of a specific category. So please let me know that as well. Thank you so much for sending me all your expense reports in a more detailed way from now on, starting in 2020, okay? And please send them to me within 30 days or 1 month after your trips, if you can. Thank you.